All right, I guess I'm live. So, hello everyone. It's been a long time since let's say my previous live. It was about like 3 weeks ago, I think. So, by the way, I'm Juvel de Lima, and I'm the host of Low Key Genius podcast. And now let's talk about podcasting. It is my service helping podcasters grow their podcast and also business owners, coaches, consultants, CEOs who want to start a podcast. So if you are one of them, just reach out and let's talk about podcasting. So today for today's session, Friday, I hope everyone is having a blessed Friday. And if you're watching this video, please if if you're watching this live, please comment down your questions about podcasting. If you have any question about podcasting, or if you have any question about starting your podcast, so if you are in a good mood, please share or like react to this live, so it will boost the reach of this live. So thank you so much. So before we go on to the questions about podcasting, let's talk about my recent post about how podcasting can unlock new levels of growth for you as a business owner, as a coach, as a consultant. So this is one of the quote from Lewis Howes. Um, he is one of the well-known host of the School of Greatness podcast, and he said that your podcast can be the bridge to your dream life. Somehow, if you are going to use your podcast to to build the brand, to promote your service, because you can use your podcast in many ways. You can use it just if you want, just talk to people, build your brand, promote your service. You can do it. So here's why he's absolutely right. So that you can work, or you can start, or you can already grow your podcast. So podcasting can build meaningful relationships with guests. So podcasting, as you know, you are going to have like 30-minute conversation with your desired guest. So that guest can be your target audience, or that guest can be your um, target client, or can be someone who can inspire your audience, that can help you promote your product or service, something like that. So it's kind of a win-win situation for you and for your guest. So because for example, if me was invited to join in a podcast, it feels like um, exciting, and in my own experience, like 60% of people, let's make it simple, like 6 out of 10 people I reach out to be a guest on my podcast saying yes and want to join me on my podcast. Even if I am just starting out my podcast is just like started February and don't have much more of listeners. But um, if you invited people to talk about their stories, their journey, they are more likely to join you, or they are more likely to be a guest. So think about that. What if you invite your target clients, your the people who can inspire your customers? So it is a big help, or some way, like it's a That's why I said to my bio here on LinkedIn that podcasting is a powerful marketing engine, because by just recording one episode only, like per month or per week, we can create like over 20 plus of contents, all right, that we can post, or we can re-upload into different social channels that you have. If you have Facebook, Instagram, wherever your target audience might be, we can upload there. So only recording one episode per week or per month, you can already um, be present on different social channels, and at the same time you are um, showing yourself, being present, being seen, because right now there are a lot of competition in social medias channels, and then the people that are always seen are the most trusted somehow. It depends on the marketing, but if you're always seen by your customers, target clients, they are most likely to trust you because you are always being seen. It depends on what content you are sharing. For example, you're sharing about you, about your family. It's like you are introducing yourself. It's like you are being a friend. So there's an statistic about that people are becoming more comfortable to people who whom they are always see on their news feeds. It's kind of like, even if they don't talk directly, you will feel that you know that person by just seeing them on your feed. So something like that. So imagine if you only spend 40 minutes or 1 hour per week for your podcast, or 1 hour per month for your podcast, and then the result of that is being seen every day. Imagine the impact of that to your business. Imagine the impact of podcasting on your business by just spending 40 minutes to 1 hour per month or per week. So that is something I promote in my surveys, in my podcast, that by only spending 40 minutes to 1 hour per week, I can help you create contents that is good for 1 month or 2 weeks of your content, and then I will create different kind of contents and strategically, distribute that to different social media channels. So if you don't have yet podcast, or thinking about starting a podcast, um, please reach out or send me a DM or email me. I have the booking link on my profile, and you can just reach out and let's chat about it. And yeah, let's get started with that. So um another thing about my post let's get back to my post. Another thing is, I said there that podcasting attract high quality opportunities. So yes, of course. Why? So if you have a podcast, you have the chance of getting in front of the right people or your target audience, like what I have said earlier, that you can have multiple contents that promotes you and your service, that makes you become trusted by your audience by just being seen every day. So you can land speaking gigs, book deals, media features, partnerships, and you know, and many more, depending on your services or products that you are promoting. So, so when you're consistently sharing value, opportunities tend to find you. So something like true, because I know a lot of people who are become famous on social media by just being seen or posting content, uh, depending on their niche, and then because of that people find them, the people that they need their service or their expertise, go look for them, and then open opportunities for them. So something like a simple conversation like podcast, it can bring value to you by speaking to people who have value, and it will position you as a as a leader in your niche, or something like a person they can trust because they always listen to you, something like that. So it also grow your personal brand because your podcast is your platform. It lets you share your story, your values, and expertise in a way that creates real trust. People don't just know you, they feel like they know you. So, like what I said, if people always saw you in their news feed because of your podcast, talking to people, sharing different kinds of content like images, video clips, blogs, so people tend to know you even if they don't, by just seeing you. So it's the power of being seen, having the content. If you are not really comfortable creating content or don't have much time creating content for your brand, for your business, you have to hire someone else to do content for you. Yes, it's good, but imagine if you have a podcast. Imagine that the content is you, real you. People connect with people, right? So it bridges the gap between the uncertainty, like the uncomfort, because sometimes people buy to people they know, to people they trust. So if you are always present to your clients, target clients, customers, if they are in their buying mode, like if they are ready to buy, when they are ready to buy, you will be the first thing on their mind, for the top of their mind. So yeah, they tend to know you even if they don't. So get more clients. This is another way, of course. When you offer value week after week, they far more likely to become paying clients or refer you to someone who will. Because, for example, I get to watch your podcast every day, and you're talking about a specific service, like you are offering a social media content, or you are offering coaching, something like that. If I know someone, if I get to know someone who is looking for that kind of service, since I I subconsciously, something like that, or not knowingly, I know you from your podcast. You're just popping up on my feed. I will exactly refer I will totally refer you because I don't know any on that field but you. So it's the result of being present by just doing podcasting like 40 to 1 hour per week. You just have to delegate all the tasks, the production, the management, and then the distribution, the strategy part of your podcast to me. I can help you with that. So your podcast becomes an organic lead generator for your business. Yes, correct. because you are going to get warm leads from your podcast, not cold leads, because they are not going to reach out if you know if they don't know you. So if they are not ready to to buy your service or your product. So yeah, organic leads, your podcast can generate that leads. So if you already have a podcast and you are not in that um, situation yet, maybe you have to think about your positioning. You have to position yourself as someone in that niche or in that specific field that you are into. All right, you have to use your podcast. You just don't podcast because you want to do podcasting. And sometimes people use do podcasting because they believe podcasting can bring them clients, but their strategy on podcasting is not aligned on getting them client. So and other thing is the way they create content, the way they promote, it's kind of different from the goal because they don't have the guide. So um, you have to align the goal, the purpose of starting a podcast into the strategy for you to get clients. So because podcasting has different reasons for you to start. If you want to get more clients using a podcast, yes, you can. If you want to grow your brand um, using your podcast, yes, you can. So it the strategy will differ on your goal. All right. So something like that. All right. So here you go. Let's. If you have any question, feel free to um, send me your question here. Um, so that I will answer your question live. All right. So here you go. So let's start with some questions if for you to get started with doing a podcast. So here is the question. Um, all right. So if you're starting a podcast, there are several questions you can you can have in mind, but this is just some of them. So, what equipment do I need to start a podcast? So, starting a podcast, you can start with just having a simple mic that still noise reducer, because yeah, something like that, and then camera, a clear camera for your podcast, and a recording platform like Riverside. If you're going to do podcasting like having a guest on a studio. All right. Oh, so it's kind of different equipment that you need. All right. But if you are going to start a podcast remotely, having guests on something like live recording, something like this, or um, you are going to record the podcast using Riverside, so it's much more cheaply and cost effective and much more easy, to set up. You just have to create the studio for your podcast, and then you have a mic, you have a camera, and you have a guest, and you can just have your first episode. So, how do you choose podcast niche or topic? So, choosing a podcast niche or topic is very crucial on starting a podcast, because a lot of podcasters start a podcast without them tying on their um, service or their product. So you have to connect the niche or the topic of your podcast on your service. So for example, me, I I offering a service to podcasters, and I am using my podcast to share my knowledge about podcasting, offering my service to my guests, getting people on my podcast who's not yet have a podcast or willing to have a podcast, or to those people who already have a podcast, something like that. So, and then sharing them my service if they might need the my service, something like that. And you have to promote it, and then you have to promote it aligned with your service. All right, so it should be aligned. So if you're interviewing guests, so this is something that I struggled before. The best questions to ask. What are the best questions to ask your guest? For me, before I am writing note questions for my guest, yeah, it's right. It's something like you're showing you are prepared, but the conversations feel like an interview. All right, so a podcast must be like a conversation, not an interview. So for it to be like a conversation, just put up a simple question. Start with a simple question and just start from there, and just have a conversation, not kind of you have a reading um ready questions, and then it's kind of an interview. So you have to make it simple. Ask simple questions and start from there. All right, this doesn't need to be very deep. You start with a simple question and then go deep. All right, so there's no best question to ask. It will depend on the topic that you are going, or the theme of your podcast. So what do I do if a guest gives boring answers? Sorry. So what do you do if a guest gives boring answers? So if your guest doing is giving you boring answers, so think about how to make your question more, fun, or add some humor on your questions. And it will start from there. It's for the first time of the conversation, for the first 3 minutes or 5 minutes of the conversation. Sometimes the guest will give you short answers, because they are just um, get ready for the conversation. Sometimes they are finding the words themselves. So, but you just have to keep on asking simple question that will drive them to their best um, self, something like that. So they find their their answers. They can answer and then they will give you like very insightful answer. All right, so should I this other last question, should I edit or my my own episodes or hire an editor? So it will depends on you. If you can edit your own episodes or if you have so much time, you can do it. But if you are business owner, you have another role, you have another responsibility to do, you should hire someone else to do that for you because it's not your expertise. You know, your job is to have a conversation, not to edit your video. All right? Your job is to have a better conversation and then leave the production and the management and the distribution, marketing to other people so that you can focus on your voice, you can focus on your goal. Okay, for being a CEO, for being a president or coach or consultant. All right, so I think that's it for now. If you have any question, more question, please reach out and let's talk about you starting a podcast, or if you ever need help with your podcast, just reach out. And then um, I offer a full service podcasting service like audio and video editing, creating contents, blogs, infographics, clips, anything that you want for your podcast. We can talk about that. And then can help you with the marketing side, growing your podcast, and then other things about podcasting. So that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.